Hello, hello. Okay. Gazi, should we start? Okay. So, Assalamu alaikum, brothers. My name is Sherif. Um, I went through the layoff wave that took place back in November. And since then, I have been talking to a lot of friends, and they have been providing me guidance, and everyone who has been experiencing similar kind of transition in his or her career has been giving me a call and asking me for like tips about what I have went through and what kind of issues um, I tried to resolve. So this is not a regular career coaching kind of thing, how to write your resume or how to look for jobs or things like that, but it's more of what I've went through since I heard about this layoff news all the way to till today. Alhamdulillah, I've landed a new job. I used to work for Intel. Now I back to my original company, which was called Mentor Graphics at that time. Now it's called Siemens EDA. It's in Wilsonville, a few miles away from here. So, as I've said, this is one of two sessions. I'm going to present the one on the right side, while a brother, Muhammad Sami, is going to give another session on Friday. He would be providing more insight about how to look for jobs, and I've attended already one session last Friday in Bilal Masjid, and it was very interesting. I hope it's clear. So I tried to put some kind of timeline to walk you through the stages that I've went through, and I would like to start from every one of us when what's the definition of a normal life here. And as the hadith says that any one of us who has a safe environment and enough food at home, it's like this is everything you want in life. So really, we shouldn't take our normal daily life for granted and appreciate everything happening in it. As happened back in August, we started to hear rumors, and they started to communicate that there will be a round of layoffs. So we kept hearing rumors and read in the news articles about upcoming layoffs and how many people would be impacted and which business units are going to be impacted and so on. So we spent a lot of time in this phase until we started to hear about the actual impacted teams. So in this period, starting from hearing the rumors all the way to, it was mid-October for me when I started to know that I've been impacted by this layoff. This was very stressful time. I'm pretty sure that you keep hearing about it in the news. Intel stocks are down. They are going to restructure this business unit. They are going to do this and that. And this is very stressful. Sometimes you cannot even focus on doing your daily job. So my really Allah gave me a lot of good support without asking for it. I have a lot of friends who reached out and say, let's go for a walk, let's have a quick phone call, and these were two great tips that I heard many times, and they kept resonating with me. The first one that it's a mass layoff happening, so it's not personal, okay? It's not because of your, okay. Yeah, I started to stand here, but the streaming, they recommended that I stand on this side. So, okay, I will try to. Okay, so I was saying that these are two, this, there's some kind of echo here. Yeah, okay. Don't know about the streaming if they need the mic or not. Yeah. So, okay. I think, yeah, the echo has went away a little bit, so let's continue that. So these are the two main tips, as I was saying, when you hear the 9,000 employees that got laid off from Microsoft and like 15,000 from Intel worldwide and all these kind of things, then it's not personal. It's not like you are underperformer and you have, you got fired or anything like that. This is the company strategy, and in some cases, the whole business unit is impacted. Okay, so don't take it personal. Okay, and this is very important piece when you start doing interview. Don't start by saying I got fired, okay, or I have no job. There is a good way to convey this message, which is you hear the press, you know what's happening with Intel. My group has been impacted, my job has been impacted, and now I'm looking for the next step. Okay, so this is a nicer way of just saying I got fired, I have no job, because this is not the reality. Okay. The second thing is that you look back in a couple of months from today and you'll say, Alhamdulillah, this is right step in my career. I was a little bit lazy to look for a job. I was happy in my comfort zone. I was too lazy to relocate to another state or another country and take big decisions. But really, Allah makes these kind of situations for you to force you to take a step, and He will help you, inshallah. And in a couple of months, you will realize that this was a gift from Allah, just wrapped in unconventional way. Okay, so it's everything is from Allah, and we need to accept it. The third piece of information which I didn't do well, this is a loss by all means. So I've been trying to leave before the layoff for many months, okay? But still it didn't feel good when it happened, okay? Like I want to leave by my own choice, don't force me to leave. Okay, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good in front of the community. I know some people who take it to the next level to say, I don't want to tell anyone that I got laid off. And sometimes people don't want even to put on LinkedIn that they are open for work. Okay, so some people get very sensitive about it. So it's a loss. Okay, we have to admit that, and we have to admit that the next step from there will be a cost for this loss, whether it's financial loss, whether it's losing a little bit of a title, whether it's losing a little bit of the comfort zone that you had. So start thinking about the trade-offs that you will do in your next step. And take time to absorb all of this information, take a break. It doesn't, Allah is the one who provides you with the risk. So taking a break for a week or two, this is perfectly fine. I don't recommend, especially in my age, I didn't feel like it makes sense to take a break for like a quarter or 6 months and reinvent myself and these kind of big words. So a few days or a couple of weeks is perfectly fine to recharge your battery and absorb what happened and think about next steps. The third one is like more of reminder. There are a lot of mental health support benefit from Intel, for example, or as part of your medical insurance. So think about these things. Sometimes you just need someone different face or different perspective to say your story, and they might help you. They might provide you with an app to regulate your sleeping hours, things like that. Okay, alhamdulillah, I didn't need to use that. I've just explored it, and I believe that they have a lot of good information. They have even information for people relocating to a different state and they need to help their kids to adjust to the new environment. They have a lot of things for different purposes, not only job related. Someone is going through divorce, things like that. So explore this because it's like a good thing in this kind of political situation and macroeconomic situation and all these stresses that piles up on us. So the next phase is between the layoff notification all the way to last day of work. Things that you need to do before you leave Intel. And I'm not talking about the paperwork that you need to fill or the goodbye email that you need to send to your friends and things like that. I'm talking about the steps that you need to do to prepare for the next step. So the first and obvious one is remember who were your friends and allies. It doesn't have to be colleague, but maybe your boss or someone big in another team, big in position or title, and you have worked with him or her, because you will need these people. You will need them in recommendation letters. You will need them to put them as reference in your contacts. Sometimes it's part of just the application when you submit for your application for a job, and sometimes they are part of your network who will give you guidance to say, oh, there is an open position here, or I know someone who can help you to do referral and things like that. Okay, so start listing these people because you can easily in the stress and the heat of the moment, you will forget about the list of the names, and you will need to scan this list over and over and say, yeah, I haven't talked to Brother Dia or Sherif or someone for like a month now. Let me ping him and see if there are any updates. The other thing that I did, and it was very useful, Intel in general, it has a lot of access to training materials, okay, and courses. I'm working in the EDA industry, so I logged on Cadence and Synopsys websites and Mentor Graphics websites, and I found a lot of courses. They are usually not free, but for Intel employees, they are available for free. And I was able to get some certificates. These certificates, and we might talk about this point in later slides, but these certificates really were not meant to teach me new topics. Some of them were more of a refresher. Others are, I've been doing this job for a long time. I've been doing these pieces. Now I need a piece of paper that tells everyone how good I am doing it. Maybe posting it on LinkedIn would help someone to ping you, contact you, and then you will have to prove that you really have done all these things in your actual job, not only that you have went through YouTube or some training material. So things like this has been very useful. You need to start preparing for your resume, okay? And you will do a lot of things after you leave Intel. But before you leave it, you need to take some notes about the projects that you have worked on without taking any confidential information, and document them in a way that it can be added to your resume later. The most obvious one, you shouldn't write use Intel terminology in your resume. Like, I've worked on 1276, 1278, and 1280. No one knows what these numbers mean, okay? Try to see these numbers. They are closer to 3 nanometer maybe. So put on your resume, I worked on leading edge technologies like 3 nanometer, okay? Then anyone, when you are applying, someone would say, yeah, I'm familiar with TSMC technology, and this looks the closest technology to this one. We need someone here, so I will contact this person, okay? So take the time to go through your focal reviews, the projects that you went through, some of your notes. Take these notes without taking any confidential information, but just take notes of what you are going to talk about when someone tells you what's the best project that you have worked on. How did you handle this kind of conflict? Things like this. Take notes because you will need them after you leave Intel. As I've said here, Intel also, especially as part of the severance package, it gives you access to some resources. I will not talk a lot about them, but there is specifically a career coaching company. I will give you my honest opinion about them in few slides, but start exploring these benefits early enough and know what you have and start like because this career coaching company, it's just I can't remember 4 or 6 month access. So if you start it too early, it will end up early and vice versa. Okay, so you need to think about what's the best moment to start this benefit and what you are going to get out of it. Okay, in my case, I started too early, but because of all of these details that I'm talking with you about, I haven't used it for the first month or so. So I recommend delaying it as much as you can. The best moment is like 2 weeks after last day of work. Okay, so I will tell you a few things that you do on the last day of work. You will be busy for the first week or two. After that, you will need some real career coaching. So this is my experience at least. The next thing is, okay, now you have returned your badge, you have returned your laptop, you no longer have access to Intel email or the resources over there, and you are on your own, okay? So few things that you need to do before applying for new jobs. Actually, you can start applying once you know that you got laid off, but because of all of these details, I feel like you will push some buttons, but they will not be as useful because your resume is not in good position. There are details that you need to figure out. So the first few days, just application and asking people, random people here and there about what you have been working on and things like that, probably will not generate a lot of traffic, okay? So these are two places that you will, two bullets, basically one place that you will interact with a lot. So Intel would establish for you unemployment benefit, which is basically part of what the deductions that you have been paying, part of your income, part of your monthly salary would be going to this kind of benefits. So you will be taking some kind of unemployment benefit. You will go to something called Oregon Work Source. It's a website, Google it, and it will come up. In my case, I think it's roughly 26 weeks of payment and around $700 a week, something like that. So I can't even remember this is before or after tax, but it all starts by going to this web page, creating an account, then you will have to go face-to-face interview. There is an office in Portland Community College, PCC, in the intersection of Baseline and 185th. They start at 8 a.m. You will just go and tell them I need to start my benefit. They will ask you some questions. They will verify your identity through passport or things like 2 forms of identification, and then it will take 1 week before they start paying you. When it comes to paying you, they will, you every week, I think I set a reminder like by Sunday morning, I used to make a summary of all the jobs and activities that I have been doing all over the week, because you need to submit like 4 bullets or things like that, which company you have applied on and when and things like this, to show them that you are actively applying for jobs, okay? So this is important. The other interesting thing, and this is one of the reasons that I'm saying delay the career coaching company, is that once you create an account here, it gives you access to a website called JobScan, which basically you can upload your resume and they give you like few free trials, and it will tell you if it's written well, if it is friendly to a system called ATS. And let's speak for a couple of minutes about what ATS system is. It stands for Applicant Tracking System. So every time you submit your resume to any company, you might hear from a lot of people that they don't hear back from anyone, okay? This is because this system is very strict. It filters your resume and ignores it and doesn't move it all the way to the recruiter, which is the first person who would look at it. It looks at the job description and your resume and compares it one by one. So if you, the job says we want someone who debugs this issue, and you are writing it as I'm experienced in debugging this issue, it would say, oh, he doesn't have a debugging experience. Just because this one is debugged, this one was debugging, okay? It's very sensitive to small things like this. Imagine now that it's also looking for the actual terminology. So you are doing analog design for PLLs and on leading edge technology. So it will look at these things and also try to match them. And if you pass certain threshold, it will send it over to the recruiter. So this ATS system is very tricky, and there are a lot of best practices on how to beat this kind of AI, and it boils down to simple formatting. Don't use complex templates for your resume. Try to customize your resume to the job that you are applying for. And the fourth one, which is very effective, is ask for a referral. When you ask someone to refer you and this person sends you a link where you submit your job, it's a backdoor where you just bypass this step and it goes directly to the recruiter. Okay, so ask for referrals. Alhamdulillah, as Muslims, I came across a LinkedIn group and another WhatsApp group where basically they called I think I wrote them here, MVLSI. Okay, they matched the WhatsApp group name and LinkedIn group name, where basically it's a group of Muslims in the semiconductor industry across the US. Okay, and over there sometimes they publish new open positions in different companies, and it's more common that someone say, oh, I found this job at NVIDIA, who can refer me? And then a couple of people would say, yeah, let's take it offline. So they cover all of the companies. I've seen NVIDIA, Skyworks, ARM, Micron, basically all the companies. This is mainly for semiconductor. I heard that they have similar group for software, okay, but I haven't been added to it. But basically, if anyone wants to go there, we can either send LinkedIn DM or message to the admins, and they will just transfer you to the other group. So this LinkedIn and WhatsApp group, they have been very useful. Um, yeah, the next thing is this is part of building a network, this WhatsApp group, but also you can use the community here. MashaAllah, we are in at ICCH here. Basically, we are all engineers. Most of us used to work at Intel or still working for Intel, but we are all engineers at the end of the day, and we work almost in the same industry. Just start leveraging our expertise. Some of us are managers and directors. You can ask them like, please review my resume. Is it clear? I need to do a mock-up interview because I'm going to this company. I don't know how they are going to, what they are going to ask me about. Some people, and I've heard this from a lot of people who said, I've been at Intel for 15 years, for 20 years. I haven't updated my resume since I've been graduated and just applied for Intel. So you need to do a lot of dry runs with your colleagues before you go to the interview. For me, although I've been through many jobs and just moved to Intel 3 years ago before getting laid off, although I've been actively updating my resume, I still needed to do a couple of dry runs with my colleagues and get feedback about what's happening. So LinkedIn Premium, this is one of the things also that on day one, once I heard that I got laid off, I enabled the free trial for 1 month. This was like too early. I also recommend delaying it until last day of work. Okay, don't consume it too fast. And even when it ends, I didn't renew it immediately. I just waited for a couple of days, and they started to say, give me a discount. Would you like to join for 2 months for like half the price for each month? Things like that, okay? So this is what happened. I ended up by using them for like 3-4 months. Every time I renew my subscription, they allow me to invite 5 more people for free. So if one of you paid the money, he or she can invite 5 more friends and give them free trial for like a couple of months. Okay, so I wouldn't use this as like mainstream website, and I keep paying for it month after month. But if you can get it for free, it's definitely worth having. The interesting, the most common feature that I've used from LinkedIn Premium, and I will talk more about this later, is the in-mail feature, where basically some people would be closing their profile and you will not be able to send to them any DM, but this feature allows you to say, no, I need to consume out of my 5 tokens or 5 weekly tokens, I think. I can't remember the number, but you can use some of these tokens to talk to the CAD manager of this company or the director of this division and get their attention and start the discussion. This would be part of the follow-up that I would recommend doing. So LinkedIn Premium, as part of one of the benefits of the career coaching company, they will give you access to LinkedIn learning website. Okay, so building still in the first couple of weeks after the last day of work, I would recommend doing creating several plans. Okay, plan A, I would say it's like what every one of us is hoping to do. We will, inshallah, land a new job. It will be same or better pay, it will be same or better title, it will be in the same state. This is like the unicorn job, okay? If you land it, inshallah, this would be great news. In the same time, you need to do some kind of financial planning, okay? You need to say, okay, I will get this amount of severance package. I have these kind of expenses like the mortgage and other things, but also I will still receive the APB, the QPB of Intel, the annual and quarterly bonuses, and I will still receive if you are part of the ESPP thing, they will say, in our case at least, they said, we will stop it and we will cash everything you have paid so far back to you. So you would see a lot of money coming and going, and you need to factor a lot of things to say how many months I have to live without any job. Is it like 4 months, 6 months, things like that. Worth noting that you will pay taxes. So you need to consider this. When they tell you you will get 100K as part of the severance, consider that you will pay taxes, okay? And there will be one slide towards the end that in some cases it changed the tax bracket of some people and they started to owe more on their taxes. So it's better to consider these things early and overpay the taxes instead of by next April you'd find out that you owe more money and that your plan is actually short by 1 month or so. So I've seen people doing the two things. Some of them overpaid. I did this, alhamdulillah, and got some tax returns, while others said, let's cross this bridge when we get to it, and they were shocked by the amount of money that they had to pay last minute. I will not talk about all other benefits, like how you will set up your COBRA, which is the medical insurance, and things like that, because it's like on autopilot. They will come in time. I didn't need to ping anyone to say where is my money. I've been waiting for it. No, everything would come to you. They will calculate all the shares, prorated. They will send everything to you. For the first 2-3 months, every month you will see some amount of money, and you will try to trace where it came from to know that, oh yeah, I forgot about this piece, like the QBB, for example, okay? Plan B, okay, which is something that I really recommend, is like you might need to, as I've said, there will be some kind of loss. Okay, so you need to think about how to minimize this loss. I don't recommend doing complete career shift, but if you want to stay in the same career but try different company, you have to accept a few things. Sometimes a little bit of pay cut, sometimes a reduction in your responsibilities or in title, or maybe all of these things would be good, but you will get a little bit of a hit in your benefits. Maybe this company, because really Intel benefits are considered superior in this state. So any other company in this state would be a little bit less benefit, and you need to do trade-off and see where I'm going to take the hit, okay? But don't try to say, no, I will come out of this with no losses and even better, okay? This would be ideal scenario, but there should be some compromises. In my situation, I reached out to my old company and asked them if they have some contracting positions. I know them, part of the network that I have, and I said, do you because really when we got laid off, that was mid-November, and it was like end of year, so not enough budget, and it also we were basically in the holiday time, okay? So it was quiet period, no one was responding and things like that. So I reached out to my former colleagues and said, I think I will be available for like a couple of months. If you want me to do any contract position, let me know. I've also reached out to some contractors on LinkedIn. There are companies called Triple Crown consulting agencies and things like that, who are not paying very well because they need to take their commission, but they give you opportunities. They have consulting jobs that ranges from like a couple of months to a year, and they say, oh, and there's potential to extend more than that, and you can leave anytime. So with the low hourly payment rate comes with some flexibility and some hands-on experience, which is a very important factor. Imagine that you have left and you have been looking for a job for 3 months, okay? But really during these 3 months, you haven't been doing, especially if you are in a deep technical role, if you are in a management role, or yeah, you can manage for 3 months. But if you are a technical person, you might need to keep your hands dirty for these 3 months. Which takes us to, did I put it here? Maybe in next slide, but I will just mention here it here. There are 2 websites. They are written in the next slide. One of them called Lead Code, Leet Code, and another one is called Code Hacker, where basically it can give you daily tasks to write script to do 1, 2, 3. It can be easy, medium, and hard, and you can have a streak. Actually, I heard that some companies, I heard this from Apple, that they asked one of my friends to show them his streak on Lead Code. What was the language? Is it Python, C++, or Tickle? How long have you been doing this? And he told them, I've been doing this for like 60 days in a row, and I've been doing the hard level, and this helped him a lot. And by the way, these are the websites which are also used during some interviews, like when you are talking to Microsoft or Apple, they would say, let's open one of these websites, write a couple of lines of code to do some function. So these 2 websites are really useful to, and they are free. They just need to create an account, and you can practice this every day without installing anything on your machine or spending time messing with the Python libraries and things like that. So plans here, Alhamdulillah, I didn't go to this level, but basically I told you I was getting the unemployment benefit, and it was expected to last for 26 weeks. If you do any job during these 26 weeks, it will lower your payments. So I was mentally prepared, and actually was like, just looked at the application. If I need to go to work like an Uber driver or Amazon delivery, I hear some people doing some Amazon buy and sell and these kind of things. So no shame at all in here, but you don't need to keep banging your head against the wall and say where the money should come from. I'm an engineer, I have to do one kind of job. I heard about some people who like went to work for Home Depot as a distraction to get a different perspective of life and to keep themselves busy and generate some kind of income. So these things are perfectly fine. Keep it in mind, as long as it will not impact the unemployment. Because to be honest, you will do more effort and then you will get the same money. So wait until the unemployment benefit ends and then start considering these kind of things. Plan D, I will not go through its details today, but basically think about self-employment. Think about creating an LLC. Think about an idea that you can invest in and start your own business. Personally, I'm not the best person to do this kind of self-employment. I've been part of bigger firms all of my life. But it was like an important thing, especially for people who has not been impacted yet at Intel, start thinking in investing in some side hobby that might turn to be a business in like 4 or 5 years. Yeah, so as I've said, don't try to do career shift and capitalize on your core experiences. Just rebrand yourself. And I have few slides on that. Keep your hands dirty. This is Lead Code and Code Hacker. These are the two websites that I've mentioned. Worth noting that if you decided to explore a little bit related job or start your own business, there is the Project Management Institute, PMI, and the certificate called PMP, Project Management Professional, and there is discount for unemployment people. So you can get discounts while you are waiting and study something new. I would strongly recommend AI and machine learning, at least for awareness. You don't have to be expert over there. As of today, all the jobs would look nicer when you add AI to it, okay? So anyone who can take an AI course and think of how can I do my job with the AI assistance, this would be big added value, whether in your current job or in future jobs. And as I've said, after you apply for the jobs, follow up. The LinkedIn email is very good. Regular check-ins if you already have the contacts of the managers or the recruiters to remind them that I'm still interested, I'm still looking. Don't look too desperate, but still, they receive hundreds of resumes. And the one who follows up, sometimes like, yeah, you came in the right time. I was looking for the next step to tell my manager that I'm moving forward with 10 more resumes as part of the second round or something like that. So reminding them and pinging these recruiters and management, I've seen that it has very good perspective. Okay, so when we reach December mark, so there are two things to consider. So regardless of your employment status, you need to prepare for the tax season, and this would be like a big session I've attended at Intel, a series called Money Talks. It has been really useful, where basically they talk about 3 strategies. One of them, how to improve the adjusted gross income and maximize the itemized deductions and delay income. They sound like they are basics of paying taxes, but taking into consideration there is a severance package, and this would be considered a big hit, especially for people who has been at Intel for several years, and the severance package is was slightly bigger than mine. They will take this hit more and might go to another tax bracket. So think about the charities and delaying any new income. They gave us hints about pay the mortgage of the next year today if you can, pay the house taxes earlier if you can. So basically maximize your expenses this year so that you improve the net income and reduce your taxes. So after you fix the taxes and God forbid, if still no luck, consider the self-employment, and I've mentioned the PMI. I would say also that I've been using ChatGPT since then, $20 a month. It's very useful. Even in my daily life, it gives me ideas. I can build a discussion with it for a long time. I can generate some figures or pictures. So I've been using it for a while. I haven't tried any other AI tool, just to be clear. I've mentioned LinkedIn Premium and LHH. This was, I can't remember if it's LLH or LHH, but anyhow, it was not very useful. They do career coaching not customized for engineers and especially for us. Our field is very narrow and has very specific terminology. They didn't provide a lot of guidance there. They will offer one-time resume review, and it's like in a general fashion, like they will go over every bullet. They would say, show us the achievement. Don't say, I was superstar in sales. They would say, Right, I grew the sales by 10%, and this is worth like 10 million, something like that. So they look at every bullet, if it's actionable, and basically they will do the best practices that we read about in any article. They didn't do anything tailored to our needs as employees at Intel. So I have 10 minutes. I will go through this. This is the second half of my session, and it's just, again, it's not meant to be career coaching, but I ran into some situations where someone would have asked me, like, I am a designer, I don't find a lot of design companies in Oregon here. Should I move to, like, California? Okay, and I started telling them, oh, by the way, a designer can work in an EDA company. We have like Synopsys here in Hillsboro, and we have Siemens EDA in Wilsonville, and I will tell you why their profile fits over there. How can a manufacturing engineer work at Meta, Facebook? Okay, a lot of people would say, oh, I'm manufacturing, I'm dealing with machines, and I need to work in a fab. So I will give you a trick about why Meta is looking for manufacturing engineers, and few other tips here and there. So for the first one, you can see this is like the normal design flow. It starts by architecture and planning, the front-end design, the back-end design, and then physical verification, circuit verification, and post-step-out flows, 3D IC, and the actual packaging and manufacturing, okay? So I picked up one quick example for every phase to show you that, for example, you are a designer, whether you are analog designer, digital designer, or mask designer. What other jobs you can apply for? You can go into this domain as in the EDA companies, as I've said. You can work as application engineer or product engineer, where they are building the tools like the simulator that the analog designer would use, but they need the analog background. They need someone who knows the actual use model, so that he or she gives them feedback about how to improve this tool. You can work in fabless design houses as CAD support engineer. So if you are good with scripting and automation, you can go to NVIDIA, Microsoft, Scilab, Cirrus Logic, Skyworks. All these companies, they have central CAD team. As long as you have the scripting and the CAD knowledge in addition to the design knowledge, this would be a very interesting profile. And of course, you can always work in the PDK development and QA. So PDK is the process design kit, where basically the designers instantiate in their design environment and get the models and symbols and sign-off decks. So this also a field that requires actual design background. I've seen a lot of people going all the way to this step, although it needs a little bit more experience, and it's not something that you can, and knowledge, not something that you can build in a couple of months, which is basically architecture. If you know microprocessor architecture and you can speak about the power and performance and the trade-offs, then you might go to a company like Microsoft, for example. All the companies, NVIDIA, all the companies that are building their own hardware would need experience like this. If you are in verification, okay, but or maybe even in the packaging and manufacturing, and you are doing what's called reliability, okay. I ran into a very interesting piece of information where, like, I've joined Intel in 2021, and this was the last time I looked for a job or interacted with the outside world. At that time, they called things like electromigration and IR drop and power decoupling, and they used some terms that apparently in the last 3 years, these terms have evolved. So now, once I came out from Intel, I realized that they started to call them power integrity, signal integrity, thermal integrity, and structural integrity. Okay, so your job might already be there and it's needed, and there are a lot of jobs that are looking for you. You just need to know what's the new cool name of your job. Okay, over here I put like this is how I came across it. So this is ANSYS, and they are providing free online courses. Okay, so this one is says on a chip power integrity, and I went through this course. The first few videos are basically talking about concepts, and it will show you that you have done a lot of things in the design. Now they call it just something different, and you have basically done everything. So this was like eye-opening kind of video. I strongly recommend it. This is how a manufacturing engineer who is really dealing with tools can go and work for Facebook. So back in 2020, I went to SPIE conference, and in the keynote speech, someone from Facebook, this is DFM, Design for Manufacturability kind of conference, and lithography conference, and this keynote speaker started talking about like, we need to hire manufacturing engineers, and everyone was like super interested why we might need to, why do you need us? And he showed this small table where basically he mapped the problems that the manufacturing engineers solve on silicon, and what they are doing while they are building the virtual reality cameras or glasses. So similar to how they focus the ions or laser or whatever we call it on silicon and do some lithography, they say we put a camera and it needs to track your eye pupil to project the light on it so that we do the virtual reality. So this is a name mapping of two sets of problems. Some of them are identical, like the projector lens between both of them, but others are like, if you are using, working on illuminator and reticle, we need you in the display engine. So this basically opens a complete big field to all the manufacturing engineers who are really not doing any CAD and focusing on machines and hardware, to go to a company that we consider software. Every time we say Meta, first thing that comes to your mind is Facebook, second thing is WhatsApp. You don't think about the fact that they are building products and they need this kind of skill set. Everything I've mentioned here, think about the new emerging 3D IC field. Okay, they need to redefine every one of these steps to work in 3D IC. Like you do SOC planning, think about that someone needs to do this across multiple chiplets. There is design, verification, and of course there is the wafer assembly and the advanced packaging kind of field. So all of what we have just said, now it's being redefined in the 3D IC domain. One important thing, so when I was attending a lot of LinkedIn sessions and things like this, I came across IEEE sessions where basically Arizona State University was giving this lecture, and they said the CHIPS Act is giving a lot of funds to colleges, and especially Arizona State University, but I hear that IBM is doing the same thing. They are building a testing facility, so a small fab. So now in Arizona, there is a new fab, IBM in Albany doing a new fab where they will focus on research for 3D ICs. They will need engineers, they need professors, they need students. They are expecting there will be more need of technical technicians as well as engineers in like 2030, and they have started using these funds today. So read more about the CHIPS Act. There are a lot of positions once you look for this. And I have two more slides and I will wrap up because because of Maghreb. So think about everything we have said here. This is the semiconductor, normal semiconductor design. Turned out that there is a completely new, not new for me, but it's a different phase of the design, that's testing. So basically, you manufacture the product, now you need to test it. Companies like Tektronix and Emerson, they design probes and they help in the testing field. It turned out that this probe is very complex circuit and it's big industry. So these companies might need you. I'm not expert here, but this is what I've heard at least. These companies need the same kind of skill set that exists in the normal design flow. It's just repurposing it and redefining it in a different application. The last slide here, basically, so some names have been very misleading when you look for a job. The obvious one, when I was talking to this career coaching company, I said I am working in physical verification, which is basically the DRC, the design rule checks. And they did quick keyword search and they rewrote my resume as physical design verification, which is basically Verilog and UVM and a lot of things that completely irrelevant to my work. So a career coaching company fell into this problem, but also on daily basis, when you are searching for jobs, you might use the wrong keyword and it might take you to completely different track and you will keep getting rejections, okay? And this builds some kind of frustration. So find the right keyword. Another thing about the keyword is that your resume, I have seen some resumes that are very generic, okay? Some people use very loose words and you don't really know what they have been specialized in. So when you try to match their resume to a job opening, you will get lost easily. Like for example, at Intel, RF stands for register file, while in the industry, it stands for radio frequency. Imagine someone using RF and you are trying to help him or her, and antenna. In communications, they mean something, while antenna effect on the silicon means completely different thing. So think more about the keywords that you are using and the audience that you are addressing, and this would be very important. The other thing is these loose words of product engineer, product management, and program management. They mean different things, not only from between Intel and the rest of the industry, they mean different things inside Intel. I know 5 people inside them, they hold, inside Intel, they hold the name of program manager, but they are doing different things, okay? So when you are looking for one of these jobs, be sure that this product engineer, is it for software, is it for hardware, is it for silicon, and so on. And that would be it. So just a reminder, I covered the right side here, and there will be another session on Friday. It's more focusing on career coaching, and they talk about a lot of useful tips. I don't want to steal their thunder, so I really encourage you to attend. And that's it. Do we have time before Maghrib? No? Okay. Okay. Very good. So I will be here after Maghrib if you want to stop by, chat, or ask me anything. You can always find me in the masjid, and I can give you my number if you want to ask about anything or chat. I survived because I had a lot of good network and friends who kept advising me and supporting me emotionally and mentally and everything. And I'm willing to give back a little bit of what I received in like 2-3 months. Okay? So, jazakum Allah khair. Assalamu alaikum.